All right. Hello, John.
Good morning, Bridget. How are you?
I'm well. I have with me John Lowcock from Darwin, who had an unfortunate diagnosis of lung cancer early in 2022. And John has done a rather interesting thing. He has reached out to the Australian Apitherapy Association for advice on natural medicine that he could use in conjunction with the conventional chemotherapy offered by his doctor. I just want to show you, first of all, before we get started, where John is. Top of Australia in a city called Darwin, which is a fairly small city. What's your population, John?
180 would probably get to its biggest amount. It's max. I want to get everyone else in town. I'm out remote.
180,000, yeah?
Yeah, yep.
And what sort of medical resources do you have up there, John?
Very, very limited. Very limited.
So could you start by describing for us how you got this diagnosis and what you did?
Well, we've had diverticulitis in the past. So I just went up to hospital. That's it. Get some antibiotics for it, straightforward, and go home again. Not to be. They wanted to be a bit more thorough. Nice new hospital here. It's fantastic at Palmerston. And yes, so they wanted to do a CT scan. So the results of the scan also brought up the base of my lungs, and they discovered some spots. So that was the start of that. And I think that was back in early February, 14th or 17th, something like that. 14th, I think.
Is this the image here of the lung cancer, John?
Yes, that's definitely one of them. Yeah, that's probably at its most advanced state where it got. Yep.
So what did you decide to do when you had this diagnosis?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, have a good think. That was the first thing. Yeah, that's which way we're going to go. It all pretty well started, got me going on this path, is speaking to a friend who mother dear happened to get a bit nosy and just let everybody know. And old mate piped up and said his sister diagnosed with cancer once before, and she just went on to colloidal silver, royal jelly. They gave her 16 months or something like that, and 16 years, she's still going.
So what path did you decide to take? Did you agree to have chemotherapy?
That's it, yeah, God. That's one thing in the back of my mind. Like at stage 4, it's nothing to be mucked around with, and it's pretty serious, this one here, because it did move along rather quickly. And so, yeah, so we kept that in the back of the mind. But yeah, so went back to the old apitherapy bit, back to my school days and that sort of thing, and that reminded me of venoms and everything else. And so that's where we started to kick off from there. And I think I might have come across yourself at one point in time, and that's when we hit the propolis trail.
So can you tell me what you were doing with propolis?
You're going to like this. We were nebulizing it. This, people, is my magic little box. This is my nebulizer. 240 volt, plug it into the wall. Sorry if I'm going too fast. Hasn't had it cleaned since last use, but straightforward. Plug the hose in. Fill up the bowl with your mix. I think it was the maximum amount of mix in this bowl might have been 10 mils, and I would have been adding anywhere between 14 and 20 drops of propolis tincture in there. And once you've got that, out on. They do come with a mask. I found this here more convenient to use. So yeah, just pop that in your mouth, switch it on, of course, pop that in your mouth and inhale. And there's my propolis tincture.
So you're nebulizing propolis. What other bee products did you start using?
Oh, that's, yeah, the propolis capsules, the jelly, yeah, all that's it. And then we moved on to bees and bee venom.
Did you have trouble getting bees in Darwin?
Oh, mate, yes. Yep, it took a little while to find some. That was the biggest problem. That's when if you go back, have a look at those pictures, you'll see what advanced a fair bit. Everything advanced, actually. Not to worry. But yes, yeah, so once I got the hives in, that was all cool. We started doing that. Yeah.
So can you describe to me what you did with the bees?
Yes, started on the knees. I guess apart from going out there, catching them first, bringing them back in, putting them out the pair of tweezers and putting them on an area. But yeah, I've got crooked knees. I had crooked knees.
How many bee stings did you give yourself every day?
Averaged anywhere between 20 and 30, probably 25 you could call it, maybe 27. It's probably on the higher side towards 30 all the time. And I'd say 54 was my maximum. That's only because I ran out of bees. I just wanted to give the system a bit of a shock.
So can you tell me what happened when you were stinging your knees with bee venom? What happened?
My knees are repaired.
What can you describe that more for me, please?
If you can go the previous reports from radiologists about having bone on bone and osteoarthritis, that sort of thing written there. And I'd be going to spend 20 minutes walking around with a walking stick. That's it. After that, I have to sit down for 5 minutes and then get up and go again. I have to stand at the front of a boat now and flick all day.
So do you mean that your knees repaired as a result of those bee stings?
Something's happened to it, yes, definitely. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I reckon I could go back and kick the football again.
Okay, so you decided to have chemotherapy. What did the doctor warn you about the side effects of chemo?
I didn't have to. I'm pretty aware of that stuff myself. So, yeah, I just don't want it in the system. As we know, at the end of the day, the cure is going to kill you. So
there was an issue about your oxygen levels. How were your oxygen levels and what did you do to manage that?
Mate, that's another story. Probably coming a bit early, but that's all good. But basically what happened with the oxygen levels was a lung infection. And the lung infection, possibly it may have been brought on by inhaling venom straight into the lungs.
Oh.
I don't recommend anybody do it. It's not the nicest feeling in the world.
So you inhaled bee venom, and you don't recommend that? That was something you did completely as an experiment, yeah? That
was a powder, yes, yeah. Well, that's it. I just figured, well, we breathe in that much dust and stuff and everything else in the world, you know, whatever. I just figured, well, it can't hurt if I can get it to the back of my throat without it collecting on my tongue and on the sides of my mouth and that little thing the hand stand in the back of your throat. I can't remember. But yeah, if it doesn't hang on that, it's good. But yeah, so that was the idea, is just to try and direct it to the back of the throat and get it down there.
So what else did you do with the bee venom powder, John?
Oh, that's it, yes. In between the couple of treatments, the 3 treatments I had, they didn't want me stinging just for the risk of infection from the bee itself. So that's it. I was just probably throwing a gram or 2 underneath the tongue every night as well, just in the hope of trying to keep them a little level up and happening.
Okay, so let's have a look at your result from, we saw this earlier image. I'll just show again. This was your image. And if I stop that share and show your, I think, is this the image that you had on the 1st of September? And can you describe for me, is this how the cancer is looking now?
That's the 1st of September. That was the most recent scan, yes. What it looks like now, who knows? Yeah, yeah.
Can you describe for me what's going on here?
Anything that's in that top part of the screen where you've got your little hand there, the pointer, you can see my ribs. I'm actually lying on my back. The top of the screen is where my head is, and of course that's my arms going up in the air. And so you can see where the ribs have been trimmed away, and the black area above the white bits, that's actually the lung. So wherever it's showing black in there is the lung, which is all good. Wherever it's not, it's cancer.
So what you can see is that the tumour has reduced significantly. Is that what the doctor told you?
Oh, we've killed it off, mate.
So we have a look at, we've got the doctor's report here. I'll just share that. the doctor's report says that there are no hepatic metastases.
None.
There appears to be significant improvement since the previous study on the 23rd of June in response to therapy. It says the primary tumour in the left upper lobe shows significant reduction in volume. Further reduction noted at the right-sided pulmonary nodule. Most nodules now showing central lucency. No metastatic disease to the liver, adrenals, or bones. No intracranial disease.
And it's interesting that they mention that, because all my lymph nodes have been affected. All 7 are affected. The ones in the left-hand lung, which of course is on the right-hand side of the screen, they've been affected pretty much the whole time. So that's 4 of those have been affected. And they've already been starting to be eaten away, at least a quarter.
So John, can you tell me, what do you think, what do you feel about using bee medicine, using apitherapy to treat your lung cancer? How do you think it's helped you?
I reckon it's an excellent foundation. That's it, mate. A good building block, for sure. That's it. Yes, not regretting it one bit. That's it. I've got a hive out the back of my own now, and just keep it up. And I have no doubt that it's been essential to my treatment, as far as I'm concerned.
So the doctor told you you're getting better, yes?
Yes, yeah. Yes, it was different when he said that, John, you are getting better. That was without the pictures. I think that was, might have gone back to the 20th or something like that before that scan was taken, so yes.
Do you mind if I show a little rundown of what you've actually been doing? I'm not sure if you can see this. I'm just going to try and share that on the screen. I think people will be very, very interested in how you've done this. So I'd like to, if it's possible, I'll have to sort of try and get that image up. Can you run down what you actually did?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I started off with raw jelly, colloidal silver, because it's quick and easy to get here. As I said, we discussed propolis. So yes, we moved on propolis, colloidal silver, and raw jelly, nebulizing as well as the capsule. That's it. And still nebulizing, still capsulizing, still colloidal silvering, still raw jelly. We moved on to lay trial. I couldn't get hold of any bees or any bee venom. And so we worked with the capsules for a while. There wasn't much happening there. From memory, I didn't feel anything. So we moved on to injecting it, and that came compounded already. So that was good. So yes, and it's started on your herbals. I was Apitherapy Spa as well. It's yes, about that time. And then I found some beehives, or at least 2 beehives, and yeah, I didn't want to wipe them out, so I knew I was going to be hitting it hard. So that's those a day, yeah, that's for sure. So it was getting hard. So I was doing that, and I decided to take up some Brazilian wasp venom that has molybdenum in it as well as Apis mellifera, and yeah, it attacks the cell in a different way. So I just thought maybe the combination of the bee stinging with the bees wasp, with the layer trial, with the capsules, with the nebulizing. But yes, it must just fallen that far short. It wasn't funny. And also that time was when I started up the bicarbonate and blackstrap molasses treatment to get the alkaline system up and that sort of thing, which we had to stop and go back to a regular diet, because I did 10 kilos in 2 weeks. They weren't very happy about that. I lost 10 kilos.
So you've managed your own self-care extremely well, and you've been very adventurous, sometimes extreme. What would you recommend to people if they had your diagnosis after what you've been through?
Don't inhale the venom. But yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, that's it. Then there's other things as well. I was doing iodine and peroxide, nebulizing that, and there's probably a couple other things out there as well. I did nebulize colloidal silver as well. lots of different little things.
Well, anyway, congratulations on your amazing result. It is a remarkable outcome, and you've been very courageous and taken it further than most people would go. So we really appreciate you describing your diagnosis today. Thank you very much.
Too easy.
And stay well.
Would you like me to grab you a bee out?
Oh, that'd be marvellous. Have you got one handy?
I'll give it a go. I've done my shoulder in, so I'm going to have to try and catch him in my left arm. So it might take a little bit, but they've had here for good probably 40 minutes, so they should be pretty dull.
Have you found that that you've been reaching for the bees when you've had pain? You've been doing some...
Yeah, well, now that you've gone and brought that subject up, we'll go back to our wonderful Palmerston Hospital yesterday. I've actually just found out that I've got full-blown osteoarthritis in my right-hand shoulder. And so hospitals being hospitals, they don't want to give you anything to fix you up. You have to go see your doctor for that. So I came home with no painkillers, no nothing basically that's suited for it. And so I stung myself last night, and it was the only thing that gave me relief. Admittedly, the relief might only been for a couple of hours, but it was relief, that's for sure. So yes, and so I got my 3 hours sleep in, I think. I got up later, and I thought, oh, I'll go outside and get some bees. Don't do that at night.
Okay.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous. So I managed to get 3 stings in it, and that settled it down again. But yeah, pity I just didn't get back to sleep. That's all.
Okay, let's go with the bee stings before this call runs out.
That's it. It's definitely made life easier to manage. Reasonable amount, any. Cleaner's tape, it'll do. Oh no, little things. So yes, there we have one beautiful little girl. When do we want it? I'm just on the arm. Straightforward. Put him down there. He'll sit there. Bingo. He stuck me.
Thank you, Bee, for your medicine.
Yeah, pity they die. Hey, off you come, girl.
Thank you very much, John. That was really great. Really appreciate your telling us about your treatment, and
yeah,
really
if it helps someone else out, why not?
Yes.
Cool bananas.
Well, you're a complete inspiration, and congratulations on your brave self-management.
Mate, what do you do? I'm here. I've got no resources. When it comes to the wasp venom, I had to compound that myself. And to do with that sterile and that sort of thing as well as another little feed on its own, as well as getting the malignant out and keeping that sterile and that sort of thing, you know. So that was basically just the tent and nitrogen. So,
can I just ask you, did you expect to be so successful with your treatment?
Something had to happen sooner or later. Something's got to give. That's it. And that's the other thing too, is yes, this benzodiol, mate, it loves working with the bee venom as well. Yeah, that's another one. So yeah.
But were you surprised when you found out that the tumours were shrinking? When the doctor had what did the doctor say to you in the beginning about your prognosis?
Oh, that's 12 months. Oh, sorry, 18 months without treatment, 23 months with. That's my life expectancy. So yeah, 23 months.
And what do they say it is now?
Oh, no idea. No idea. I'm not going to even enter into that with them at the moment. So yes. But the other thing you've got to be remembered here too is bee venom's a real bugger because it gets rid of all your symptoms. So there's 3 times I thought I had actually advanced and gotten rid of it, when in actual fact it was completely the opposite. Yes, that was rather frustrating.
So are you saying that the bee venom made you feel well and the cancer was actually progressing?
Correct. Yes, I didn't have the nausea. I didn't have anything. The only thing I had was a cough.
So in other words, taking the bee venom supported the other treatment you were getting, so you weren't feeling unwell.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's it. Yep. No effect from the chemos or the immuno they were putting in. I mean, none whatsoever. Maybe, I shouldn't say none whatsoever. There probably was a little bit of effect maybe towards the end of the week, but it's just hard to say because it could have been die off or anything happening at the same time. But there was no immediate impact.
Have you tried to tell people how you're doing this, and what's been the reaction?
Well, that's it. Yeah, they just laugh. That's it. Yeah. I think it's a joke. Yeah, you get that. Some people can remain ignorant if they wish, but yeah, that's cool. But mate, like I said, it just must be that close to getting rid of it. If it can knock off all those symptoms, it must be just that 15th away. That's why I'd love to give it a go on drip with the other method I'll talk with you about. So
Yeah. Anyway, congratulations again.
Thank
and
you.
Stay well, stay in touch, and I'm sure we'll keep talking.
Okie dokie. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.